Good evening, my name is A.J. Hoffman, and I'm here to apologize for my idiot savant twin brother, J. Darroll. You see, we normally keep him chained in the cellar where he writes about my real adventures in life and calls it fiction. He also does this pretty darn accurate thing of predicting the stock market. Idiot savants can do those sorts of things, you know? I'll try to use better restraints in the future, so just ignore those so-called blogs, which are really just the rantings of a man not taking his meds. For the future, we have suppositories, which will take care of that quite nicely, I assure you. Have a pleasant evening. I have a date with Bambi from the club, and we'll be out quite late tonight. Again, my sincerest apologies for my twin brother. Mom, where's that big logging chain and the double padlock? And, that big Ron Popeil turkey injector thing. I have a great idea for J. Darroll's meds.
Hey, how do you get this dang thing to work again? Where the hell's the red light at? You know, Rush Limbaugh and Glenn Beckman had to go through this shit. What the heck's going on? How do you know if when you're supposed to talk? When the music starts? You didn't tell me that. This is silly. Hang on, stop recording. I got a dish and it's going to look like I'm picking my nose. And now it looks like I rubbed it on my mouth. How come my nose looks like a turd coming out of a Rottweiler in this camera? Are you beginning to see what the overall Bush strategy was over the last decade? See what his plan was? The GOP stood for government of the prosperous. And to hell with the rest of us peons. We, the ones who have, don't want you as homeowners. We want you as lowly renters and mobile home dwellers. We will enact laws to stop you from registering to vote in our Republican states. Fact is, you live in a Democratic state and ID is readily available. If you live in a Republican state, you have to bring an entire history of unattainable documents for them to enter you into the building. Can you believe that? American taxpayers can't get in their own buildings. If you get robbed or lose your home to a fire, you can't even walk into the downtown federal office building. Then we done. Hold you at bay. You may not obtain a new Social Security card if you don't go into the building. These are the rules Republicans put in place to keep the poor and disadvantaged from attaining an ID. Why do you think they did that? Because they don't want them to be able to vote. Because sometimes they vote for a smart Democrat, even if he's a black man. Where's the outrage over this sly little plan they executed and its enactment? Every day, millions of Americans now face a world where they cannot even get a flu shot. Healthcare providers may not give care to anyone who does not present a valid ID card, and they in turn will give the flu to their children, send them off to school, where your children will be infected by this virulent strain called the swine. The real swine flu is what the Republicans have done to us for the last 8 years. We will all be at risk for this new flu season because those who even want to pay cash cannot receive adequate health care or a common flu shot. This is what the Bush administration has left us with in this stupid, knee-jerk, overreacted thing enacted to, quote, save us from the nasty terrorists halfway around the world riding camels, eating dung. Indiana today made history. The Court of Appeals struck down the voter ID law called Motor Voter as unconstitutional. And so much is that it goes beyond the pale. But it is the biggest butt you'll ever see in your life. You, your grandparents, your children will not die from stopping the poor and disadvantaged from going to vote in elections. They'll die this winter when a third of the Indiana population, which is poor, disadvantaged, or cannot even use the lowly amount they get from unemployment to get a flu shot without a proper ID. Heed these words, fellow Hoosiers. Stop the poor from being able to get them. Stop the poor from being able to get adequate health care, and you may be sacrificing your own loved ones in the process. The phones nationwide should be burning up in order to change these stupid laws that put us all at risk during these infectious times. I have a 76-year-old mother and 4 toddler grandbabies to protect from this immunized people out there. This will be the scourge that will kill 100 times the number that died in 9/11. And I'm not just talking about here in the Hoosier state. Nationwide, the count may be in the millions this year. But take heart. That is less people who will have to insure. And it will also drive down the rate of the unemployed. It'll make us look real good. Of course, the rest of us left alive will have the added burden of the taxes those poor dead people can no longer pay. So, in the end, it may not be such a good deal after all, will it? We'll have to see about that one. Sorry, I had to change the music myself. You see, my staff here ain't that good. I ain't got that Rush Limbaugh thing going on yet, but I'm working on it. You don't mind if I smoke, do you? You know, there's a $4.50 tax on these things, so this is my contribution to the income tax. Oh, there's my technical assistant. I don't think she wants to be on camera, though. Where was it? Thinking the boon to Social Security if we take out a few million a year over the next 10 years. Oops. That means the ones left have to share all the costs of them boomers coming up, which may not be such a good plan after all. We already have a declining population, and China and India are on the way toward cleaning our future clocks in economic growth. Don't you know that? Now add to all that, all them stores who have furloughed workers and slashed inventories, thereby allowing them to garner higher prices for fewer goods that are going to be available this Christmas. We're going to look like Russia. Our stores' shelves are going to be so empty. Does anyone think their stock should be in retail trade goods for the short term right now? I don't know. Car dealers are expecting the worst winter sales since Jimmy Carter was in office. The 70s car collapse that put Chrysler into bankruptcy the first time. Special thanks to the Republicans for killing cash for clunkers, which had millions of workers and suppliers back at full steam for a couple months. Too darn bad that program did not last at least through the new car cycle.
I guess while I was gone, he got on the blog again. See, we normally keep him chained up in the cellar, where he writes about my real adventures in life, and he calls it fiction. He also does this amazing thing predicting the stock market. Idiot savants do that sort of thing real well. Here's his book, Double Down Bounce. If you haven't read it, you should. It's really good. I'll try and use better restraints in the future, so just ignore the other blog, which again is really just the rantings of a man not properly medicated. For the future, I've got an ID system. Mom, where did this book come from? The Lollipop, that's about my exploits. That's a good one. Mom, where's that big horse needle? That'll take care of this problem nicely. He won't be needling you guys anymore, trust me on that one. My date with Bambi went really well. Met her at the club. He was fantastic. An all-nighter as usual. What else did you expect? I am the great AJ. Mom, has Darroll been wearing my clothes? Has he been smoking up in here, Mom?